Education, Laurie Kilmartin.
I'm just going to shout into the internet. I don't have it in me to plug in the microphone.
Oh man.
Oh man, I know it. I've been traveling for so long. Let me tell you something about Kansas City International. Its call letters are MCI, but all
Yeah.
the signs say KCI.
Oh,
So
weird.
I had a very tiny meltdown when I was 10 miles away from it, thinking that I had gone to St. Louis instead of Kansas City because there was a bunch of signs and it was all very weird. And then,
Did you have Kathleen Madigan talk you down?
no, I did
Okay.
not. I had, what was the other thing? Oh, I rented a car that had a tank that held 9 gallons.
Ooh.
And I
Huh.
kept forgetting to do a joke about how it had great mileage because I pushed it the last. That would have been a good joke.
Sure.
It's over now. Um, but I did Northwestern Arkansas.
So tell me about it. This is the first road gig. It's the first indoor shows. It's first weekend of hell travel.
Oh my
Horrible
God, it
travel.
was literally hell travel. It was
Fill me
very
in.
weird. Okay. Um, it was everybody kept switching their flights, and I was featuring for Brian Regan.
Mhm.
So Brian Regan has been doing shows since pandemic started. He's been doing outdoor shows. He's been doing drive-in shows. He was doing indoor shows, and he was doing Florida shows, and we did not do that. Do you?
We can however you guys want to handle it. We got good momentum going, so I can just cut this part and then we can record it at the very end if you just want to keep Beryl and Jackie.
Oh, and then
Yeah,
you'll
we'll just
just
record
pop it
that
on the
part at the
front.
end. Yeah, so I'll
Okay.
just chop this part out.
Okay. So yeah. So he is yeah. So everybody changed. It's literally 2 hours from the Tulsa airport, 3 hours, 3.5 hours from Little Rock, 3.5 hours from Kansas City.
Mhm.
The big airports. There's a small national airport, Bentonville Airport, that the guy who owns the club was like, there's direct flights from LAX to Bentonville. And I was like, what? And it turns out if I'm willing to fly United or American, I'm not willing to fly either of those because they're the worst. And it turns out this guy has airplanes and has clearly not flown commercial in a long time.
Oh, the owner of the club has like his own corporate jet.
Yeah, he's a pilot, so he has
Oh,
airplanes that he
okay.
flies. So he hasn't had to try to fly United ever,
Okay.
and so he doesn't know how bad that is.
Oh, I
And
see what you're saying. But I would offer that either of those is preferable to flying to a mislabeled airport and then renting a 9-gallon car and driving for 2 hours. That's my
right,
suggestion.
it's almost like I forgot how to book travel and get to places. So I travel on the Wednesday. I am I've been like you know.
Mhm.
I mean, I've done 1,000 Zoom shows,
Yeah.
and I have been isolated in my home for 13, 14 months.
Right.
And I've gone nowhere.
Right.
I've driven to my mother-in-law's to help her
Mhm.
with some chores.
Mhm.
And that is it. I have not eaten indoors. So I get to the LAX. Everyone's wearing masks because it's Delta. There's no middle seat. The flight and I've switched the flight so many times. Now I have to fly all the way to Atlanta and then back to Kansas City. When
Oh my
initially it was
God.
to fly to Salt Lake and Salt Lake to Tulsa, and I should have kept that. Um,
Oh man.
the woman next to me touched me like 3 times, and I was freaking out. One time she was like, "Hold my water." Another time she was like, "I read a QAnon article, and it's freaking." And I was like, "Lady, I can't talk you down with a mask on." She had read some. There's an article in this week's Newsweek that if you put young blood in old people, you can stop dementia and maybe stop aging.
Oh yeah, I've read that.
And
I mean, yeah.
yeah,
That's
and
on Silicon Valley, I think, too.
well, it's also in a lot of science fiction. And she's like, there's going to be billionaires who have children attached to them. And I was like, okay, that's
Oh
not real.
no.
That's not real. You got to calm down, lady. And she never did. She did not, and I tried to talk her down. Anyway, so then I drove, and so that was Wednesday. Thursday, I did the show, and it was not good. It was. You know what it was? It was okay. That's not what I'm
So
looking for.
so how many people in the room?
141.
And how many people, what's the space between you on stage and the first audience member?
It's exactly like 2019. It was full.
Okay.
It was completely full. It's a great room. And I was freaked out because there was just too many people. And they
Yeah.
were all, there was no, I mean, by the second show, I was like, fuck it. You have to just have fun. And if you die, this is how you die. So I was like, and I'm not going to die because I'm vaccinated.
You are, and even if you were to get COVID, your case would, no one who's been vaccinated has been hospitalized from COVID. It would be a
Right.
mild case.
It would
Okay.
be a much milder case. So, so after Thursday, I literally was just like, okay, just have fun with it. You'll get the timing back as you get the timing back. I called Lewis Lee, owner of Acme, to say,
Yeah.
is everyone rusty or am I a monster? And he's like, oh my God, everyone's rusty. He's like, I've been watching people for 4 months relearn their timing.
Oh
And
my
he said,
God.
it'll take you 10 shows. And I was like, it can't take me 10 shows. I'll give you 3 shows, Lewis.
Oh man.
And so by Saturday's second show, it's still a little sloppy. And
Yeah,
what was
right,
great
right.
about this is I'm only doing 20s,
Oh, yeah, that's sweet.
opening for Regan, right? And I get to see Regan do an hour 5 times.
Yeah.
And but it was, Friday shows were good, and then Saturday first show was great, and Saturday second show, you know that thing? Hey, there's a helicopter. You know that thing when you come off stage and you say to somebody,
Jesus Christ.
better,
That helicopter.
That's impressive.
it is impressive. Welcome to Van Nuys. It's literally, I got off stage and Brian goes, better luck next time.
Yeah, you killed.
Yeah. And I was like, that's when I felt like I was back.
Oh, that's great.
Because I love that joke.
Yeah.
And to get it from Brian Regan, of course, is a
Yeah.
nice thing.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yep. So it was full, and I started, by Friday I was making fun of the crowd. I was like, do you feel socially distant? There's no social distancing going on here.
Yeah.
And they laughed and laughed. And I said, the entire state of Arkansas is just like, no, it's been enough. I'm bored now. We're
Did
just
you
going to
feel
go
like-
down in a group.
Did you feel like people were vaccinated, or you were entertaining anti-vaxxers? Or
I felt like they were vaccinated.
okay.
I felt like they were vaccinated, and I felt like they were also, and they were like 20s to 50s.
Okay.
Like there were no seriously older people, like 70s or 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturday second show had a couple of 14-year-olds because it was Brian Regan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that is. But the travel was nightmarish.
That's awful. That's
And I planned it so poorly that I don't know what to, obviously the learning curve on that's going to be. And we just drove from LAX right now. It was crawling with humanity.
really.
Yeah. I wore a mask today for 11 hours.
Oh, that's right. You, not only is it a horrible day of flying, but you're masked the entire time because you don't want to take that chance on a plane. So you're not eating on the plane at all, right? Or are you taking quick?
No, you
breaks or something?
could in between. You could
Yeah.
do that because I flew first class all the way back.
Okay.
And that was great.
Yes.
But I had that thing where you can't get to sleep last night because I had that 3.5 hours
Yeah.
drive.
Oh my God.
And so, and then I stayed at the Hilton, very lovely.
Uh-huh.
And they're doing a thing now where they're not renting. Everyone has to wear a mask in the Hilton. They're enforcing that, and then for the most part. Like there's a couple of people I saw who blew it off, but they're doing a breakfast. They're doing the cup of waffle,
Hmm.
but they're having people kind of work the buffet and make a plate for you and hand it to you.
Okay.
And
So
then
there's still plenty of styrofoam going into the seas.
it was all cardboard actually.
Oh, that's encouraging.
It's
Okay.
something. And then I kept, you know how you can only open hotel windows like that much now, just tiny.
Yeah.
I left it open for the whole weekend. I
Yeah.
was like, just, and they have like these weird sealers, and they're not selling the hotels. They're leaving them empty for 72 hours in between guests.
Yeah. That's cool. And you didn't bring any merch, right?
No, no, I brought some joke hole masks to give away,
Oh, that's cool.
and I gave those to the staff.
Oh, nice.
But Brian doesn't do any sort of meet and greet because it's just it was 5 shows, 140 people per show.
Yeah.
Tickets were $50 each.
It's a good
And
deal.
and they and he and he was like the bus was parked right there, and so he was sort of he's doing Irvine this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Irvine Improv. I think he's doing it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. But
Probably.
he's working on a new hour, and it's pretty funny. It's
So
obviously turns out it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I would assume so. And so, what were, did he take any time off? What were his thoughts on, did he talk
On-
about comedy at all, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, he got COVID real bad in
Mhm.
December.
Oh, was it bad?
It was bad. He almost got hospitalized,
Oh, shit.
and he lost, and so did his tour manager.
Wow.
His tour manager, Eric lost his sense of taste and smell for 3 weeks. Brian only lost it for a week, but Brian is such a meat and potatoes guy.
Mhm.
I think his taste buds were shot off by Chef Boyardee in the Friday Night War. So
Oh,
he-
Gordy, some Gordo love.
Yeah.
he's yeah,
He's glad you're back.
he's glad I'm back, and I'm glad I'm back because he's
Yeah.
very cool. And I did because it's Brian, you got to be clean,
Hmm.
but because it was a club, I decided to do the gender sexuality bit.
Hmm.
And at one point I there's no swearing, obviously.
Right.
But I do say at one point that I'm having sex with a cat. And
I think you imply it.
no, I say the words I'm having sex with a cat. I did
Oh,
say,
that's right. Yeah.
and I was closing on the cement mixer story,
Hmm.
and he said, I like that cement mixer story. And I said, yeah, I got 2 possible closers, that and the cock ring story. And he goes, well, I'm glad you're not doing that. I appreciate that. Thanks for. And then there were different MCs. There were different MCs for every show.
So is there a local comedy scene there?
Yeah, a little bit, but they all drove in from Oklahoma and Dallas, like Oklahoma City, Dallas. Linda Stogner drove in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she says hi.
I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
Hmm.
Hey, let's do at least a break.
Okay.
You want to do?
Let's do that first one.
Okay.
Or I mean,
You
the
know how to
second
do-
one chronologically.
Okay. So remind how to join.
This would be why is Max Fun Drive and community?
Do you got this, Lori?
Yeah, there's like four things that can you post again, just like
Yeah, no problem.
when maybe one by one?
1 second to give a quick
Okay.
time code stuff. All right.
Yeah.
About to come in.
Did that work? Oh, one new message coming at us.
45-minute break show. Read an audience comment. We bail on that part. speak from the heart about how did the community affect you, like the audience that we have and the things we've seen about it and what's great about having them and how that's
So essentially,
great.
we're just going. It's the Max Fun Drive,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, you guys, it's the Max Fun Drive, and which means once a year, we do this thing where you get, we do a bonus episode, and the whole network gets together to plug each other's podcasts, and we appreciate everybody, and it's just a great, it's a way to join each. It's monthly, right, Lori?
Our podcast.
No, the drive.
Well, you join at different levels, correct? Right, and you pay. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay, I am on medication.
It's fun to watch both of you answer the question and then respond back with the same question.
Yeah, guys, here's the deal. Shit's not free, okay?
Amen, sister.
It shouldn't be free. We are giving you pleasure. Now, I don't understand why you get pleasure from this. That's your problem. All right?
Between you and your God.
Yeah. Jackie fucking just left Arkansas and then flew for hours and flew into LAX and came into her garage and started the podcast before saying hi to her fucking dog. And you're not going to pay for that? Who are you? Okay.
What kind of monsters? So there's different tiers, and you go to what? maxfun.com/join?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's
That would
what
be
it
a good
is.
place to
That's
go.
.org. MaximumFun.org
.org.
/join.
I didn't even catch that she said com. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that.
and that it's maximumfun.org.
/join. Yeah. And
Really?
you join at a level you can afford.
Yeah.
You know, if you one of the prizes is we did our first face-to-face podcast before you went to Arkansas. And
Right.
That's the prize for anyone who signs up and gets and joins via our podcast.
It gets
So-
heartwarming, y'all.
It gets real heartwarming because we see each other in real life.
That's true.
We're all vaccinated, sitting around a table. I believe Kyle was half vaxxed, so
Yeah.
he might have been masked up a little
We
bit
had
back
some,
from.
but we enjoyed a symphony of dumpsters and jets because we were recording
Mm.
outside in Van Nuys.
Yeah, helicopters. It's always good. And so maximumfun.org, and our fans literally, I know a lot of them are comics and a lot of them are comedy fans, so whatever you can afford would be great. It's just, it supports us throughout the year. We get to pay Kyle, we get to
Yeah.
make a couple of bucks. It's nice.
Yeah, and it's not just us. It's the people at Maximum Fun that provide everything
The
that we
support.
get to use. We just
Yeah.
show up and start complaining in our mics, and they do everything else, and that's their job. And people deserve to be paid for their jobs. And if you enjoy our content and you enjoy, I hate the fact that I just said content, but if you like what you listen to, we give you an hour a week.
Mhm.
That's pay for that
Pretty
a
solid.
little bit.
That's it. And I think it's at the $10 tier you get a free pin.
Yeah.
But
it
we
was
can
real
talk
good
about
this
that
year.
next time.
Okay,
Anyway.
we'll talk about that at the
All right.
next
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. A teaser for the next break.
Lori, you have had the operation.
I have.
Tell me about that.
Wow.
We both had so much stuff.
I know, big week. So I had it on Monday. It's now Sunday night, right? And I've been sleeping a lot, and I have little episodes of pain, but it's nothing too bad. It hasn't been too bad at all.
Okay.
The worst thing, and I would just recommend for anyone before any surgery, is that the anesthesia, if you go do full anesthesia, will cause nausea. Then you can't keep anything down. And so because I drink so much coffee, I had to stop drinking coffee, obviously, the night before. And I couldn't drink any sips to stop the headache. And I'm not kidding. The coffee headache was so bad that the highly addictive painkillers they were giving me didn't affect the headache. They helped the other stuff,
Right.
I ended up getting some nausea medication, and then I was able to drink coffee again, and that was okay. So that was like the first 2 days were really hard like that, where I just felt awful. And I had, little bottles hanging out of my body that were draining blood from me. And so it was
Great.
just icky. And by the way, okay, my discharge time was 7:30 in the morning, which is criminal.
Get out. Yeah, that is criminal.
Okay. So I felt like shit all day, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then the doctor took the drains out on Thursday. There was I guess the pictures I was sending, I'm sorry, young comics, I'm not good at taking pictures of my breasts, but the lighting was bad on the right nipple, and he was like, oh, okay, that's worrisome, right? And then in person, it turned out to be okay. It was
just a lighting issue.
Well,
So,
it's more bruised. They took more out, and he said that my right breast was upset about what had been done. But they're two separate operations, so it's a big deal. And the how it feels is so I can't. I mean, first I'm still swollen and everything's very tight and uncomfortable.
It's not healed up yet. It's only been a week, right?
No.
Yeah.
Less than a week.
How long did they say it'll take? Probably.
Like he said, 4 weeks till I can get in the pool.
Okay, 4 to 6 weeks, sort of to feel normal.
Yeah, maybe 6 weeks, but maybe even months before your actual size sort of settles in.
Oh, okay.
But it's. I mean, I've looked at them without all the packaging, all the gauze and stuff on them, and it's like, whoa, I did not expect to see those on me, because like Real Housewives boobs. You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh, they look they look relative. They're kind of shiny and new.
Yeah, and they're just high up.
Oh yeah.
They're not saggy at all. And I remember I've seen those boobs on ladies and been like, oh, they're so lucky they were born with small breasts. Oh, now I'm like, oh, no one's lucky. Everyone is lying. Okay. I mean, and I don't know about you, but like I've had like when I was a teenager, I had very floppy breasts, big, golden retrievers, right?
Right.
Happy energy, and they weren't like mean chihuahuas. They were just like big and all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Spilling out everywhere all the time.
And who was psyched? Everyone was psyched. Look at those. They want to see the world.
So I don't feel like restored to my former self because my young self, because they're very different than even when I was a teenager. It's not the style that the Kilmartin women have. And he took out I guess 300 grams of one and 400 of the other because they weren't the same size. So now they're the same size, and I'm wearing and I don't think a man can understand this, but like the oppression of a bra and how heavy it is and how it feels like you're just packed yourself in an iron corset, and now I don't have to wear that. Like, and I don't have to hold them up. Like I wouldn't want to run now, but if I had to run from a rapist, I wouldn't have to hold my boobs and run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could do a Tom Cruise arm pump.
Yep. And just go.
Probably rip a few stitches. But
so look at you raising your arms up though.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, don't
Yesterday, I raised them all the way up and I pulled the kitchen window down like this. And then I was up all day, just like my body was like, what the fuck just happened? So
what did you do?
It's just very different. And I like the way they look and they're even. And I'm like, well, these will do me for the next 30 years before I die. That's fine.
That is nice.
And if I can wear bralettes, which are, Kyle, they're just, basically, they don't feel like anything.
Are they like a camisole?
Almost like a tank top.
Yeah.
No pressure on your shoulders, nothing pulling.
Yeah, that is the greatest problem with the bra is that they dig into your shoulders.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, I gotta, He's got
Yeah,
to
you have to control them. You have to manage
Right.
these things.
right.
So, so that won't be a thing for me for maybe 20 years or something. I don't know. And then, by then I'll be 75, and who will care? But
You're right. It's like
yeah.
it's like getting LASIK or getting like your teeth whitened or
Yeah,
whatever. It's
right.
just convenient. I'm glad it worked. I'm glad that you lived. I'm glad that there were no complications. All the
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized I didn't have Cheryl's number, and I was like, I think she's probably knocked out. How do I how do I get over there?
So I'll give you
Yeah.
Cheryl's number after.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, Cheryl took care of me. She drove me there, and then she yelled at them for the 7:30 discharge.
Oh, did she?
too. Yeah. God, there's so much waste in hospitals. It's like, ugh. They sent me home with like a ton of these little plastic cups for blood, and I didn't need any of them. And then they had these amazing like heating pads, but they were I was so drugged at the time. I don't know exactly what they were, but the nurse would just crack them. It felt like rocks were cracking in them, and then put it behind me, and it would immediately heat up. So it's not like you plug in or something like that. I don't know what they're made of.
Oh, I know those. Yeah, I've seen those.
So she
Yeah.
she goes, "You want to go home with some?" And I'm like, are they reusable? And they're not. So
They're
I'm like,
not.
that's okay. I'll just plug mine in. Like,
Yeah.
we're just throwing so much shit away.
Yeah.
And
I had to step away.
you're very busy, Jackie. But that's okay, because you've had a terrible travel day.
Oh my God, what a terrible it was dumb. But I will say that so I tried to do stand-up wise, I tried to do different sets. I tried to do the same opener and work on the opener. So that I'll have it done for Seattle this week. And then I tried to do the closer, so I'll have the closer done. And then I tried to mix up the middle so that I was at least trying the timing in front of people.
Right.
And then by the second show Saturday, I was just loose again. I felt like I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
These people have come out to see a good time. I'm up here having the time of my life. We're all just doing it. And then I had my first indoor restaurant meal on Thursday, I think, maybe Friday.
Okay.
And it's so interesting. And then I went to the museum. Oh, that's it. On Thursday I had my first indoor meal. On Friday I had an indoor meal because I went to the Alice Walton American Museum of Art.
So is this near Bentonville, Arkansas, then, where Walmart is
Yeah.
based out of? Okay.
Yes, it's the Walton daughters. And someone was telling me, they're like, it's just a big write-off. And I was like, so are public libraries. Please, it's not like there aren't worse public write-offs,
Seriously.
billionaires.
Yeah.
It's an incredible a museum, quite honestly.
Wow.
And it's free. And and you could do donations. They also had like a paid exhibit, but I just did sort of the standing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was gorgeous. It was fascinating. And it was not they were only doing a certain number of people were allowed in the museum. And I went Friday day, so it was lightly attended. And then everybody indoors. Like I tried to go to a couple of Walmarts to look for Hot Wheels for Andy. And they have different kinds of Walmart because it's, Arkansas is where Walmart is from.
Yeah.
And so they have these things called neighborhood Walmarts. And they're the
like
fancy grocery stores.
Yeah.
And they're kind of fancy. Oh. And if I need a regular Walmart that has toys, I'm looking for a Target.
Gotcha.
I'm not looking for a Walmart. Because they had only 2 super centers, which is what I learned that was the word I'm to use. And then so last night I was talking to the club owner about coming back. And I said, I didn't mean to make it weird. And he said, you're a comic. You're going to make it weird. And I was like, you are not wrong. Because he asked me, like, sort of what I make. And so I told him sort of the standard Gersh money that I make.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, well, not the first time. He did that thing where it's not the first time because you don't not a draw. And I was like,
Well, Jackie,
Yeah.
it isn't your first time doing comedy, so
yeah, it's my first time. He was talking about, you know how the club owners
yeah,
try to tell you it's their first time at their club.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not a draw, so they're gonna lowball you. So
Yeah.
he just, he's just a better negotiator than I am. And so what I've done is I've let it go. And I'm just gonna work a club that wants to book me.
Mhm.
And it's lovely. And Andy's dad's widow lives in Arkansas. We'll go there.
Mhm.
And maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. And I'm just gonna, because this week I'm in Seattle, and then
Mhm.
next week I'm in Fort Collins and Boulder,
Cool.
and then I have a week off, and then I'm in Denver South doing the Comedy Works South.
That's
And
great. That's an amazing month. And
it's
you
an amazing
you'll
first
need
month
that
back.
week off too,
I'm gonna need that week off, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure out if all the ducks are in a row to record the album in July at Acme. I know that 800 Pound Gorilla's, I think, on board,
Mhm.
but I have to the camera guy, the crew to do the filming.
Mhm.
He works on a TV show, so they're Ryan. You remember him?
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he may or may not. I just pinged him to see if he
You
is
had said he might have other camera guys there.
right, and I want to figure out if that. I just want to make sure everything's in a row.
Sure.
Because once I had a good set, then I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna work out. You know,
Yeah.
I told you that because somebody else just went on the road for the first time, and she called me and said that she might not do stand-up comedy anymore
Wait,
after the weekend.
really?
And
Oh
then
no! Oh please.
I know the
Please.
following weekend, she calls me, which was this weekend, and she's like, "No, it's fine. I'm back." We all just need a weekend of work to remember how to do it,
Yeah. Mhm.
and then we'll get tighter and do the good times.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. You want to take? Do you want to do
Well, we got
comic
like
of the week?
15 more minutes before that break. Nice try.
Nice try. How about the comic of the week?
Let's do that. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, our comic of the week is Kath Barbadaro. Barbadaro.
Barbadaro.
Yes.
That's a great
Very
name.
funny. She lives in New York. I think she's from Texas originally. And she's a total WWE fan.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. She's very, very funny on Twitter and very funny comic. Her Twitter handle is at Kath Barba, Barba, Doro. Doro.
So Kath is CATH?
Yeah, KATH.
Oh, KATH.
Yeah.
It'll be in the notes, you guys. But find her, follow her. She's a delight.
Yep.
And
I want to put my hands up so badly.
yeah, don't do it. I want to fall asleep so badly. But in other news, what else? I'm like, so, yeah, so I worked on the set list, and then after Thursday night show, I listened to a couple of sets from Bloomington. My last weekend out of the road was March of 2020,
Right.
and it was at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington.
Right.
And so I had audio for all of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to some of that to sort of remember sort of the vibe and the timing. And you would have thought that all those Zoom shows would have paid off, and they did. I mean, there's
They did.
but it's just a different thing. And
They're not bad. They weren't bad. They didn't make you a worse comic,
no, and there was material that was it was weird. There was one of the jokes I tried to do it Thursday,
Yeah.
And nothing I did Thursday made me happy.
Yeah.
So so I tried it again on like Friday's second show, I think the quality time joke
Mm-hmm.
about people spending time with their kids during quarantine. And I think there's something there, but I definitely it didn't work as well in a Zoom situation as in the Zoom situation.
Mm-hmm. I know that's
So
the problem with Zoom is a lot of times the audience, they're comedy fans or they're your fans, so they
mhm.
know too much already. And then you are thrown out in front of a crowd that maybe isn't a comedy fan, that has people that were cajoled into coming to the show, don't know who the fuck you are, and so they don't have that intimacy with you. So
Yeah.
you can't assume that they know you, and so they're going to immediately like your sassiness or whatever. Like you have to hold their hand and walk them down the aisle a little bit.
Yeah, I was right back in um nobody knew who the hell I was land,
Yeah.
right? Because it was clubs. And it was, I got some very nice I think it was yeah, Friday second show. After the show, I was just going to get a soda and coming back, and this table stopped me too close. And and they were like, "You might be the best comic we've ever seen," which of course is always nice to hear. And they're like, "Who are you?"
Oh
And
my
you're like,
God.
of course you
Oh
don't
my
know."
God.
And then my favorite was, because I say I'm from Wisconsin, there's always some dude who's like, "You're probably a big Packer fan, huh?" And I'm like, "No. No, I hope they win if you want them to. Did you want them to?" And because I don't care.
Yeah.
But and then he said that there was some problem with the quarterback for the Packers, and I forgot the name of the current, which I know I have all the information via osmosis,
Yeah.
because everybody's talking to me about it. But I mentioned the wrong quarterback, and it was the guy who's talking to me about it must have been 23 years old, and he came back with a very funny line because he said, "You guys are going to lose your quarterback," and I said, "Brett Favre,"
Oh
and
my
which is the old guy, right? And he laughed so hard and he said, "No, Bart Starr." And Bart Starr was from when in 1972. He was
Oh
from when I was
man.
a kid. And I was like, "How do you even know that name? You're 22 years old."
Oh,
Uh-oh. You froze up, Laura.
I'm gonna pause real quick. All right, we are
There we
back.
go. Yeah, so you froze and got kicked off. That's weird.
What a mess of a night.
Right, right.
Thank
This
God
is
you're home safe. That's all that matters.
it really is. I'm very happy to be home safe. I missed all the I missed everybody. And but I have to say, so I was just lying there on the pure Hilton sheets that I love so much.
Uh-huh.
And I was just thinking to myself, because Andy was like, "Does it feel kind of like you're home being at the Hilton?" And a different home. And it kind of does, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm so used to being home.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time I left my room, I had to mask up and I kept showing people, I would pay things and have my wallet with my 2 COVID stickers showing. And, but it was really fun, on the whole. It's such a beautiful area, and the MCs were all funny in a row, right? Like
Yeah.
each of the comics, they had to do. So get this, they had to do 5 minutes, and then they brought me up, and I did 20, and
Mm-hmm.
then Brian got up and did an hour, and then he has had this. He's been a part of an ensemble cast on a TV show on Amazon Prime, but it was on Direct TV for the first 2 seasons, and now it's on Amazon Prime for free, and it's called Louder Milk.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a very dark sitcom, and it's one of those things where I think the writers were like, "Let's get Brian Regan and make him swear." And so he swears in it a bunch, and but they just moved it to Amazon Prime, and it's free on Prime Video now. if you have the Prime membership. And there's 3 seasons, and so he did an hour, he came off. When we did theaters, he would come back out and he would just sort of do classics.
Yeah, right,
This
right.
time he came back and he showed a clip of Louder Milk.
Love it. Sure.
And just as it was the slow
Oh no.
as
Oh,
the banter. But then, okay, so then, he pitched the show, he told people about the show and stuff, show the clip, goes back up, and then they drop checks, and the MC had to do a check spot for
Ooh.
10 minutes.
That's what yes, this guy used to do that with that guy. And so no, but so yeah, but I mean it's smart. It's it's smart if you're the headliner. You don't have to do any of that shit,
I did not know that you had attended that gentleman, that you two had gone out. I didn't know.
No.
Oh, a separate person.
Yeah.
Two different men. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Jackie. Oh my God. I know I have bad taste in men, but seriously, that would never happen on any level.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I was like, that doesn't seem right at all. Is that the first person that you wrote? I was like, this doesn't play to form, true to form at all.
I don't. I don't know. It's rough for the MC, but I mean, do you have to entertain people while they're paying? Can't
they just
why
pay?
is that the obligation in a comedy club to entertain people while they're paying? Like the show is over and
the show's over. Why don't you just
you settle your
get to
bill?
leave?
You don't get to leave till you pay, and you show the door person that you've paid, and that's that. Why
who does that?
Entertainment at that point.
Downtown Zany.
The best entertainment, and now you're going to have entertainment that's not as enjoyable because you're not paying attention to it. And it's not Brian Regan. It's a weird tradition that we could do without having to entertain the audience while they pay for their tab.
Yeah, it's too much. And there's no check. They drop the checks after the show at Downtown Zany's, right, in Chicago.
I think so, yeah. Why not have someone sing? Does anyone? I mean, could you just start karaoke at that point while people are paying? And
that's gonna make people dine and dash. Are you kidding me? Who doesn't want out? If there's gonna be karaoke happening.
Play music. I don't know. Get a DJ to play something, but you don't. The having the art form where you have to understand the art form, you have to listen to it carefully. Have that be the thing you use to entertain people while they're not paying attention.
Right, and to make some comic who's been doing it 5 or 10 years follow Brian Regan, that's brutal. Yeah,
it is brutal. It is brutal.
It's
and you're following Brian Regan, and oh, guess what? It gets worse. Like that's not the bad part.
Oh my God,
yeah,
so funny. Oh man, his set though, it was tight, it was smart, and he had in pandemic he put out a Netflix special.
Mm-hmm.
So he's working on a new one, and he did some of the stuff that's on the Netflix special, but he's already working on the next hour, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And
so even Regan does that. Even Regan does stuff that he knows works that's probably already been out there for his primary set, so he can work on his new shit. That everyone does it.
Everyone does it. You mix it up. You know, there was some stuff from the latest Netflix and some new stuff, and it was. He also did Fallon this week.
Oh wow!
And he did Fallon, I think, on Wednesday night, and it was a Zoom gig.
Oh, okay.
He just zoomed in from he lives in Vegas, and
so does he like it? Tell me. I have a mild obsession with living in Vegas as a stand-up.
Does he? He doesn't do any sets. He doesn't do any shows.
Wow.
He wants to just live there.
So it's just because there's flights all the time, everywhere?
I think his ex moved there with the kids.
Oh, okay. So it's purely
then-
because of kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And the kids are grown up. When I first started working with them, probably 6 years ago, and the kids were little. They were
Yeah.
like 10 and 12, and now they're like 22 and 17.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fascinating.
So what one of them was 3 years older than the other. One of them, the ages didn't track in your example, Jackie. And
Oh,
I know
I'm
you're
sure.
tired, but I've decided to try to humiliate
To
you.
correct and to try to humiliate me and correct me in
Yeah.
there. Yes, we're super close. We stopped being pen pals. We were never, it's the same thing as with your son, where if I meet a child who's anywhere between the ages of 9 and 14 or 15,
Yeah.
I will try to figure out what they want to read. And I will start handing them different kinds of books.
Yeah.
And so with Brian's kids, I was just like, what about Dragon Riders of Pern? What about Mentally? What about this one? It's about a girl who has a tiny dragon, but she also plays the guitar or whatever. And or the pan flute. I forget what Mentally plays. But yeah, and then I got comic books for Christopher because he liked the Marvel.
Wait, for who?
The boy, his older son.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's smart. Getting the kids gifts.
I
That's,
like to.
that
okay.
reminds me of
I'm a pusher.
the hypnotist I worked with in Iowa, who said that at the end of the year he sends all the bookers a bag of oranges. I told you this, right? I
No.
was like, wow, it's an interesting idea. But then I started sending like John Fox, like the local bookers. No, I sent everybody See's candy. It cost me like $200 every Christmas for 4 years, and then I'm like, I don't think it's working.
Okay. Yeah. So I was looking at who works this club in Arkansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these two people, one of them I saw the W9, and the other one I saw a poster, and I don't know who she is, but they are married.
Oh, okay.
And I know him, but I think that they're both kind of southeastern, southern comics.
Is there still like a southern? It seems like every comic is from the same place now because everyone just moves everywhere and they live every place all the time.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's still like a southern circuit.
Those two are
definitely
A's.
is.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of friends who do that run. Like if you live one spot there, you can definitely like go up and down and make a little money.
That's cool. I know that that was what drew me to living in New York, because I was like, you could work a lot of road gigs. Connecticut, it's right there. Go to Rhode Island, it's right there. But then it never took. I could never live it. So.
They're still there waiting for you.
It's still there. I could move there now.
How long did you live in New York for? I forget.
A month and a half, 2 months.
You gave it a shot, Jackie. Honestly,
I hated that. I hated that Sinatra song, man.
You gave it your best shot. A month and a half.
Yep. Hey, you guys! There's another helicopter coming by.
Oh my God!
The finest episode.
You guys, if you guys go to MaximumFun.org and listen to the /join and join in, you can get a bonus episode of not just helicopters, but also airplanes. And some helicopters are police helicopters, some are hospital helicopters, other ones are traffic helicopters. We live between 2 hospitals and 2 airports, and the cops are constantly buzzing us because they think it's Hanoi in 1974.
They sure
These
do.
are like secret callbacks.
Secret callbacks.
Yeah. So go to MaximumFun.org/join, you guys. And you know what? The minimum amount is $5. That's nothing, motherfuckers. You got that. Okay. If that's all you got, we get it. All right.
$5 a month is, and that's just like $1.25 an episode. Sometimes that's $1 an episode. And
seriously, come on.
Well, and you get you get all kinds of trinkets at the different levels. Like most people do either $5 or $10 a month.
Yeah.
And but if you do $20 a month or more, I think there's a $200 a month one, whatever. But you get all of it, right? If you do $200, there's a
I
T-shirt,
actually
there's a
gave a
magnet.
blowjob to a guy pre-op. That's on the $200 a month level. They don't tell you that that's
Laurie's OnlyFans. What she's doing is you can motorboat her new boobs, you guys.
yeah. No, maybe take that out.
I'm working
Take
on
that
it.
out, Kyle.
Yeah.
Well, we just had to take out a bad riff on my part. Listen, I still have my Friday night go-tos. Right?
Well, you got your second show chops that you're trying to
Yes,
keep
I
going.
do, but
That's
maybe
the
not
important.
during our Max Fun.
I am looking forward to
promo.
so the
MaxFun.com.
shows were at 6 and 9. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the website again for the end of the ad.
Oh, MaximumFun.org/join.
Yeah.
That's the jam. And you guys are great listeners. You really are. And if you have $5 or $10 a month, that's what most people do. And you get trinkets and stuff, and it's great.
By the way,
MaximumFun.org.
we know some of you have money because we keep pitching high-end stuff in our ads. All right, we're not sending you to Walmart. All right, Function of Beauty ain't cheap. All right, Green Chef ain't cheap. All right, but you guys are buying it. Okay, so chip in a little at MaximumFun.org/join.
I don't think we can use that either. I don't think in the drive we're supposed to go against our sponsorships. Don't get me wrong. I love all of this, but I am not in charge of MaximumFun.org, and clearly we now see why.
So Laurie has been taking drugs this week, and so we've
I was
had
supposed to do it. I stupidly said yes to a live set in Hawthorne for Friday, and I had to cancel. On Wednesday, I felt so bad. I was like, I can't foresee feeling good enough to stand, much less drive, an hour. So, but I had told Rochelle like that was a possibility, and she's like, let's go for it.
Okay. So
and I did too, because I thought it would be okay, but I did cancel it. So I'm going to do my first set tonight, because this will air on Monday at the Flapper Zoom show. And then, life starts to come back to normal,
Life is speeding up again. It was super busy at the airport. And I think because I think something like 50% of the United States has gotten one shot.
Okay.
And in some cases, like it's 60% of different states have gotten at least one shot, and 40% have gotten 2 shots. So we're cruising along here, which is good. But they want 85% of the population to get these shots.
I think when you're on stage now, you can't, like, part of me is going to be like, who's a hoaxer? Like, I'm going to want to sort them out, right? But
right,
the energy that you were talking about, hey, I'm here, you're here, let's have fun. And the knowledge that if you're vaccinated, you're probably going to be okay. And that should just help you try to have a good time while you're out there. You're going to fly all the way out there to a gig,
I want to have fun.
Yeah. You don't want to be in terror on stage. Like there's plenty to be scared about on stage, I guess. I'm actually more worried about a mass shooting happening during a comedy show now,
I wore my Antifa t-shirt to the museum and out to breakfast in Arkansas, and I got a lot of good comments. And
nice.
One guy at the Hilton said, that's great. Not everybody's going to be in favor of that. And I, restraint of pen and tongue, did not say back to him, you know what they call people who support fascists? They call them fascists. I thought about saying that to that guy, and then I didn't, because we were in an elevator together, and I didn't want to be murdered.
Yeah.
So
he was probably warning you that if he liked it, but he was letting you know that.
Yeah, he was just helping me, because I look like I just wear t-shirts and don't know things. Turns out, grown-up lady. And it was interesting, because I also did I do that line about um not knowing I'm white and the thing about swastika factories in a match.
Yeah.
And there was always a couple of people in the audience who'd be like, "Oh," and I was like, and I would look right at them when I said it. And I was like, "You guys, you know that they're the bad guys, right? I mean, the Nazis, those are the bad guys. You're not
Um,
supposed."
yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like when we first started, you'd go to some of these towns, not necessarily this one, but the one we're at in Arkansas. But you're like, ugh. Like I know, if I were to talk, small talk only with these people. I don't want to go
Right.
below the top layer, and you just want to get out okay, right? And
Right. Most of these
that
people looked pretty sane. It was kind of it was which was weird because of how packed in they were, which made me think that they were vaccinated, but I
yeah,
couldn't tell entirely, right? Because
right.
nobody, when I first saw the tour guide, Brian's the guy doing the tour, I
Oh,
said, "Are you vaccinated?" I mean, that's been my way of grading people.
yeah, right,
I'm
right.
like, kind of want to hug you, and so I gave him a hug, and it was, um, and I'm going to Seattle, but Brian's working with Gary Brightwell down at the Irvine Improv this
Oh,
weekend.
cool. I know Gary.
And yeah, and I was
Mhm.
thinking about going down there on Thursday, but now that I'm home, um, and I'm leaving again on Friday, there's part of me that doesn't want to go anywhere.
I know it's weird. Like Ron Funches posted about, doing like the first show of the Comedy Store. That
Oh yeah, yeah.
clubs are starting to open up here, and part of me's like, oh, I want to be, out. I want to be everyone's first choice. I want, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
It's not gonna make or break your
not gonna
career.
matter. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's weird. I mean, we figured out how to do stand up without having comedy clubs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, we did.
So we can still figure out how to maybe not be driving down to Irvine on a Thursday for no reason, really,
Right, right. And he's got someone to open. It's not like I'm gonna pick up a set.
Right, right,
Though
right.
I am kind of curious what Gary Brightwell's been working on for a year, you know? I mean, that's one of the reasons I took the gig is because I wanted to know what Brian had been working on for the year.
Yeah.
And plus doing 20s for for the money was actually, you know, um made sense to me for this to as warm up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but mostly it was just because it was Brian, quite honestly, because it was
Sure.
Brian Regan, and I wanted to see that, and I wanted to work with him. So
And he'll be back in
success.
theaters soon enough.
He's done a couple of theaters, and
Oh,
yeah, and this club, the Grove, it has 4K cameras, and he told me he was going to send me the sets,
oh, cool.
and I was like, "You don't have to send me Thursday," and he was like, "No, I'm going to send them all to you," and I was like, "Yeah." And uh the other thing is he was so nice. It's so far away from major airports that he's been having a hard time getting sort of big names
Mhm.
from LA and New York. And he was super grateful. He was just telling Brian how grateful he was that he picked to do the club because agents were taking his calls now. They were
Mhm.
like, "Oh, Brian Regan played your club? All right. Maybe he desperately wants this guy." And I was like, there are so many dudes. If you could somehow.
All right.
He'll kill. That
He
guy would kill.
does. That's all.
He
He's
always
a
kills.
destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he has the routing on that is so bad
Mhm.
that it's road dogs like me and you and a couple of people I put in there, and I mean, it'd be like, yeah, of course I'll do if it's halfway decent headliner money, and it's okay, I'll figure out a way to get there. Like, I know Felicia Michaels has done it,
Oh,
and
neat.
she's a road warrior, man, and
Yeah.
she
Mhm.
she destroys everywhere she goes. And I know Augie Smith would kill there,
Yeah.
and he would totally go.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would go.
you would go, yeah, you'd figure it out.
Yep.
He also kept offering to pick us up in one of his planes, and well,
I'm not a. That just seems like
small planes are, you're just like, I'm just a little shy of such a thing, but it is very nice of him to offer. And
it is. It is, but I don't want to die with a club owner. You know, I really don't.
I think we have a winner.
Right.
Oh my God, too funny. Yeah, and I've been getting requests from people if they could open for me, if I could bring them on as features, and I was like, I have to figure out how to get myself out there, but yes, of course, everybody, and there's people that, like I brought Brandy Posey and Carmen Morales and Brandy Brown and a couple other, and Andy Erickson, who just wanted to do Seattle that one year. She needed a 30-minute set. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely people who already headline but want to get into the new clubs, and I, get to play some newish little clubs, and I want to be of help. I want to help, but I need to fill my year. It's like, no, I totally want to book you, but I gotta book this, and makes sense.
The other thing is I know some people were like Maria, and I think you were too, were compensating the features extra money because you knew the clubs weren't paying them, but the clubs aren't paying very much to
the clubs are, because they're coming back into this, and
the idea that you would have it's like, it's hard to say to someone, hey, go ahead and lose $200 working for me.
Right. It was like barely breaking even before the pandemic.
Right.
And trying to find a place to live, to stay and everything. And it's this guy was really, he paid each of the MCs, he paid them good. And someone we know featured for the Grove, the one in Arkansas, and he pays the features decent too.
Oh, hey, cool.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, hey.
God,
that's not bad.
Right. That's, Kyle is like, I would like that information, please. And he's when he handed the two MCs from last night their checks, and you shouldn't get a parade for being a decent club owner, but I was just like, I was pulled out of me because I was like, no, this is a decent, that's a class act right there. As I said it, and then I was like, did I just say class act?
It's like, someone got paid.
Pardon me while I tell people that I'm all woke. I mean, I don't have a lot of.
Well, you're also saying that, I mean, because they used to pay the MCs in the 80s and 90s.
It was just
a lot of those guys weren't class acts that were paying those guys. It's just what you did at the time.
Right. You were just paying people for their work. Mm-hmm. And that's what this guy does. And it's nice. And it's decent, it's fair. And so, because that's what he gave me, and then Brian matched that.
Oh, cool.
So, Is it time?
It is. Shall we?
Wait, we're done?
Yes.
No.
Unless you want to keep talking. Oh, we got to do the ad. We got to do the ad. Yes. Okay, let me make another cut note this time on myself.
Wait, what?
So if you visit MaximumFun.org/join, and you'll see all the ways that you can give. Like we've been talking about this. Most people choose $5 or $10 a month. Some support $20 a month or more. You can also boost your membership in between levels if there's a specific amount you'd prefer to give. So you could go with a $17 or a $22, and you get trinkets at every level. You get this show every week. You get all the different Maximum Fun shows. You get to pick what shows you listen to, and there's magnets and pins and T-shirts and just there's cool trinkets. That's right. And there's bonus episodes for every You can listen to all the bonus episodes, I believe, and that's MaximumFun.org/join.
Yeah, you get this show at every level. Sometimes we're on fire, and sometimes we don't know what state we're in right now. And sometimes our internet logs us off. This has like been the most plodding of our podcasts in a long time, but
It's a real ad for the show.
It's just one. This is it. This is you guys. Sometimes we swear a lot, and sometimes there's no swears at all. This one didn't have any swears.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say the word swears again because that was fun for me, and I'm a little punchy.
Nice.
I've been traveling all day.
Very punchy.
Well,
Very punchy.
I think people should go to MaximumFun.org/join, and we all three should go to bed.
True.